from him. He says, "The people of Israel have long lived under the constant threat of attack from Hamas and other terrorist organizations. It is Israel's obligation to protect its citizens from these repeated aggressions, and it is Israel's right to defend itself from radical insurgents." As a long-standing friend and ally, the United States supports Israel and its ideals of freedom, equality, and democracy in the Middle East. Our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Israel during this tumultuous time, and we hope for a swift and peaceful ending to this ongoing conflict. Thank you.
Yeah! Swift it will be.
Next, we have a letter from Congressman David Scott, and Chandra Harris, District Director, will read that for us.
Woo! Yeah!
Good evening. I'm pleased to share this evening with you a letter from Congressman David Scott, who's in Washington but wants to share his support for Israel this evening.
Yeah!
He says, "I stand by Israel. I stand by Israel on good days, and especially when our friends and allies are under attack. And they are under attack now. Hamas broke the peace by repeatedly launching rocket strikes against civilians. Israel held back as long as possible. But no nation should have to tolerate terrorist threats under the scrutiny given to Israel on the world stage."
Woo!
Operation Defensive Edge is a response to the continued Hamas threat. Israel accepted the Egyptian proposal for a ceasefire and halted all its military activities in the Gaza Strip. Hamas rejected a ceasefire and continued to use civilians as human shields. It is that simple, and the world should see clearly that terrorism never values the lives of the innocent. I stand with Israel, America stands with Israel, and we will not waver in our support.
Woo! Yeah!
Thank you. We also were expecting a representative from Senator Isaacson's office who sent us a glowing testimonial of support for the state of Israel. If that person shows up, we'll bring her back later. But in the meantime, a guest who's always invited to participate with our community, who, as I said, had a scheduled conflict, always finds a way to make that scheduled conflict go away. A great friend of Israel, a great friend of our community, Mayor Kasim Reed.
Schedule right now, but I said, you know what, we all gonna get in the car and we going to this rally. We'll have a meeting. A friend is around when you need them.
That's right.
It's easy to be a friend when everything's all right and things are going well, but as I stand here today and look out at all of your faces, certainly in the faces of children, I think about our city right now. Look how beautiful it is right now.
Amen.
And just imagine if anyone or anybody or any organization were to just start lobbing bombs into the heart of the city of Atlanta, what we would do to stop that kind of attack. So I'm going to leave the diplomacy to others, but I'm going to make a clear, unwavering message as the mayor of the capital city of the state of Georgia, that I stand with Israel and the city of Atlanta. And I'm not not just going to say it on the good days. I'm going to say it on the other days. As I drove here, I thought about President Harry Truman and his decision to make sure that the United States of America was the first country to support and acknowledge Israel.
Amen.
And because of that relationship, our destinies have grown and grown and grown. So it is essential that right now that we not let that relationship be shaken.
Amen.
That we stand up when Hamas uses the kind of tactics that they use. That we understand that Israel must defend itself. And I think that we can lose touch of it in the United States of America. And in all honesty and candor, until I was in Jerusalem, until I was personally in Tel Aviv, until I was in Haifa, and saw how close it is from where the bombs come, as an American, I had no idea. And so I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to lead in government in the United States of America to take that trip to Tel Aviv. Take that trip. And see how you feel about making sure that you're adequately defended. Grandparents and parents are okay. It's real easy to look on the TV in the United States of America and try to imagine what the people who are in Israel are actually feeling. And I know it's hot and I don't want to take too long today, but I wanted you to know that you are so important and that this relationship is so important that no matter what I had to do today, I wouldn't miss this moment. I'm going to pray for a speedy ceasefire. I'm going to pray that the parties come to the table. We're not going to come to the table from a position of weakness. We're going to come to the table from the position of a community that has to take the necessary measures to protect its citizens. If we're in the city of Atlanta, if we're in the United States of America, that would be our demand.
Amen.
And that should be Israel's demand.
We got your back, Israel.